Hello and welcome to CIPD Bitesize. In this video, we're moving on to task 2 of the 5C02 evidence-based practice module, AC2.1. Now, task 2. You've got table 1, where you've got the total in a department. You've got the levers for 2024, and it wants you to calculate the percentage of levers in total department, the positions vacant, vacancies as a percentage in each department, positions filled as a percentage in the total department. Okay, so I know many of you will be looking at this going, oh my God, maths, panic. It's okay. We'll work through it systematically. It'll be all right. So, Table 1 shows Technovirus turnover and recruitment data for 2024. Sue has asked you to convert the data into a percentage form for each department to show levers as a percentage of the total number of employees, vacancies as a percentage of the total number of employees, positions filled as a percentage of the total number of employees. Now, it feels like you could just get this table, you could just do the totals. I'm going to tell you to work through this table systematically. And the reason I'm going to tell you to work through it systematically is when it comes to table 1, present your finding using a minimum of 3 different diagramical forms. Easiest way to do a diagram in the different forms is to have these 3 data sets against each department. So whilst AC2.1 says percentage of total, vacancies as total, positions filled as total, when you move on to 2.2 and it asks for 3 diagrams, kind of makes sense to have all the data filled out because then you can just sort of build it out and stuff like that. So number 1 key thing to remember, to calculate a percentage, you divide the part by the whole and then multiply by 100. You divide the part by the whole, multiply by 100. So percentage of levers against total in department. You divide the part by the whole and you multiply by 100 to give you your percentage. Part by whole, multiply by 100. Part by whole, part by whole, part by whole. And then total, part by whole, part by whole. Okay, so that's what you got for table 1. Part by whole, multiply by 100. Part by whole, multiply by 100. And just work through it systematically. I think the more you worry about, okay, well, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I build this out? Can I build that out? Can I do the other? Can I do the other? The more complicated it gets. The criticality of this is just being systematic and working through the data 1 line at a time. So again, just to remind you, to calculate a percentage, you divide the part by the whole, and then you multiply by the 100. So if you were to look at this, the whole number in the department is 26. The number of levers, which is the part of people that have left, is 6. Part by the whole times by 100. There is no need to provide reference or in-text citations for 2.1. Now, I am going to move straight to 2.2 because the 2 are interconnected, and that's really important for this. So, task 2, same data, 2.1, as mentioned. Now, when we look at 2.2, when you have completed table 1, which we've just covered, do it systematically. Present your finding using a minimum of 3 different types of diagram. 3 different tables. You don't need to provide reference or in-text citations. So when you think about this, well, it makes sense to do it via department then, doesn't it? Create a table that does it via department. Creating the tables in Excel is relatively easy. If you fill out all the data, you just highlight the area, press the charts, and it produces charts for you. And then you select what functions you want in it and stuff like that. Honestly, if you just select, press charts, and then try and work out, it should work absolutely fine. The way that CIPD have set up the table is you can work off this table relatively simply. So again, it's scary. if you don't work in Excel all the time and stuff like that, if you do work in Excel, you should find this an absolute breeze. But just try and make sure that you've got that. Now, one tip, if it's not working, it's not coming off, the blue bars, so the blue bits with no information in, so the auto technical department blue bar, if you remove those blue bars, sometimes you might find that it produces the tables a lot cleaner because there's no dead data. So you may want to clean that up by removing all the blue bars, so you can just right click over the area and it'll just delete the entire section. And that might be easier when you're producing the graphs. One little tip.